After 3 episodes focusing on 2 wheels, this episode of Gareth Jones on Speed is firmly back on 4 wheels. Some of them on track, others on gravel. Hello and welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed, and welcome back to Gareth Jones on Speed. Zog, it's been 4 programmes since we've spoken.
Yeah, you've been all over the place. Well, I say all over the place. Mostly India, having a great time.
Yeah, and then Italy, having an amazing time. It's been extraordinary. You know me, I'm all over the place at the best of times. But I have literally been all over the place doing 2-wheel stuff, which has been a great joy for me, as you will hear on the programme. But hey, how about you? What you been up to? Been away? Been here?
Been here. Bit of this and that, some light pottering, some non-podcast enterprises, bit of shooting, improving my couple of personal bests in a couple of shooting disciplines last month. So that was very, very satisfying, but that's hardly relevant.
Just to clarify, Zog, you haven't got a side hustle as an assassin, have you?
Well, if I did, should I be talking about it here? No, nothing like that. Just a little light sport target shooting.
I was doing some light sport biking on it wasn't the fastest bike in the world. It was only a single cylinder, 400cc thing producing about 30 something brake horsepower. Not the biggest in the world, 40 something brake horsepower. But it really did grip. Tyres and traction control on bikes have come a long way out. It was a great experience, but enough about bikes.
On a light 2-wheeled vehicle, that's enough horsepower to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hey, later in the show, I'm going to be talking to Graham King about the World Rally Championship and the possibility that we could well have a Welsh World Rally Champion for the first time ever this year. But I want to talk about World Champions with you, Zog, of the Formula One variety. Now then, given the events of Brazil, where one world champion and his team just crumbled, didn't they? Ferrari were just awful.
Yeah.
What?
Ferrari's form is very disappointing and sometimes a bit baffling. They've got 2 tremendously talented, charismatic, wonderful drivers there, and it's a real shame that the team isn't always able to give them the right car and support to perform. And also, to be fair, that the drivers themselves have sometimes, not performed as well as they could. They haven't been bulletproof themselves. Lewis has had a couple of slips here or there. And it's a great shame, because I had great hopes for this season. I just hope they can pick it up again, that they can really, lift their game next season. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for.
McLaren are just running away with it. Verstappen is still keeping them honest. I mean, really a remarkable drive from him in Brazil, coming from the back of the field to finish in 3rd after awful qualifying. Where did their speed go?
They put a new power unit in his car, didn't they? Which was the reason for the start
they did, yeah.
From the pit lane.
That's right, yeah. New engine and I think some setup changes, and clearly worth it. And taking the pit lane start, Verstappen got up to 3rd. And if he hadn't had that slow puncture and had to make a stop for the puncture, who knows?
Yeah. He won from 17th there last year. And I said this going into the race, watch him, but I didn't expect him to carve his way through the field like that. That was a work of incredible discipline and extraordinary talent and some engineering grip as well.
Yeah. And credit to Norris, who, I think we've talked about how he's not always, for all his talent, you sometimes sense that maybe he didn't have the sort of steely, consistent resolve that maybe Piastri has a little bit more of. But in the last few races, Norris has absolutely shown that he will be a worthy champion if he does win, which he's likely to.
He's driving elegantly at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, he is, and with confidence, and he's absolutely got it together. And Piastri will have his work cut out to take that lead back. He's got it in him, but it will be tough. And then for Red Bull and Verstappen to get it back at this point, that is quite an ask. it certainly can be done, and Verstappen is certainly one of the few people who could do it.
Yeah. If anyone in the world could,
it's going to be Max. But,
just looking, we've got 3 races left. Las Vegas, not Las Vegas, as a lot of people say. Las Vegas, and then Qatar a week later, and then Abu Dhabi a week later, and then boom, we're done. Lando's got 390 points. Piastri's 24 points behind him. It's going to go down to the last race, I think. I don't know. Piastri could have one good weekend here and he's straight back in it, and he deserves a good one. Max, he's 49 points behind Lando. I can't see it. It would have to be the 2 McLarens driving into each other at all 3 races and taking each other out, which allows Max to become the champion. And
it has to be quite a turn of events to enable that to happen. But I do hope it goes down to the last race. Let's hope we actually have a final race of the season that is the championship decider.
And isn't that incredible? In a terrific 24 Grand Prix, 30 race, if you include the sprints, season, that the championship is, at this point of saying this, likely to go down to either the penultimate or the last race. We'll see.
I think that's credit to really the rule makers, because of the fact that the current regulations have helped to create the situation where we really have had a very competitive field at the front, and McLaren have been pretty dominant, but they haven't had it all their own way. We've had very competitive racing. We had plenty of different race winners and drivers on the podium over the course of the year.
Brazil was kind of crazy. We had all sorts of drivers out of position, you could say. Ollie Behrman was up there. Hulk was up there for a while. Hulk always does well at Brazil, though. Brazil often does that.
Yeah, the top 10 in qualifying was a much more mixed bag than you'd normally expect, really.
Yeah. You're right. It's all down to the rules. It's stopping teams from running away when they have a superiority over another team. It keeps the grid all closer together.
Actually, this sort of touches kind of peripherally on something I've been thinking about kind of over the last couple of races. So I think, maybe at the start of the year, I'd had a conversation with friend of the show and friend of us, Stevie, about Aston Martin's prospect. And I was saying that, it seemed to me like if the last couple of decades of Formula One has taught us anything, it's that if you want to win, what you need is Adrian Newey and a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
correct.
If you've got Adrian Newey and a lot of money, you're going to do very well. You're going to win world championships. But actually, I'm not so sure that that's true. I've been thinking that what you really need, that the most valuable asset for a team in the current era of F1 is a really good team principal.
Okay.
More than superstar drivers, more than superstar designers. And sure, you need top drivers and top designers, but more than anything, you need a really good leader at the head of your team. And I would argue that a combination of, I'm about to undermine my argument by kind of combining 2 people in one here for the first example, but Zach Brown and Andrea Stella at McLaren have done a spectacular job at knocking McLaren into shape and bringing them from the back of the grid to a championship winning team.
Yeah.
Fred Vasseur, for all the fact that Ferrari, have been disappointing us recently, he has done a magnificent job of kind of calming that team down and getting them going in the right direction. And James Vowles at Williams, I think that clearly shows how the right kind of
level-headed,
calm, clear, level-headed leadership can pull a team, push a team in the right direction. And I think this is a product of the kind of environment that we have now, where there's a complex set of rules, a complex regulatory environment. There are a lot of moving pieces, much more so than a decade ago, 20 years ago, where an exceptional technical talent could really
single-handedly pull a team out
single-handedly make all the difference. You need somebody who is going to put all of these pieces together, make them work together, and make them work together seamlessly, and effectively towards the same objective.
You need Christopher Pike, the captain of the USS Enterprise before Jim Kirk, right? He had a tremendous ability of airing the needs and listening to the data he was getting from his bridge crew and making decisions based on his ultimate game plan, ultimate view. You know, Brilliant manager. What a great manager. What a lovely bloke as well. Well, if he were real.
Yeah, there you go. Good example.
Toto Wolff is pretty good at that. I wouldn't like to cross Toto Wolff, and that's also very important. You talk about Lando, not quite being steely enough to be a world champion, but maybe he's going to win it with grace. Toto is a nice guy, but there's a steely darkness to him, and you need that in your management. You need to be a little psychopathic. So it's a little, you need to be slightly psychopathic to be a manager, really. You know what I'm saying.
I wonder. I mean, I wouldn't like to go on record saying that that all the best team managers out there are psychopaths, but maybe having a little bit of the obsessive nature that can often go with psychopathy. Maybe there could be something in that. Yeah, and this season, I think, whilst Horner has been a tremendous leader for Red Bull, replacing him with Mekis did seem to really pull Red Bull back together. Whether how much that was because, maybe Horner was a little bit, eyes off the ball because of
distracted.
Distracted because of other stuff that's been going on, because of some controversies around Red Bull, or what, I'm not quite sure. But it does seem that they're getting the team leadership right made a significant difference to the way the team is performing. So, team principal is your MVP, your most valued player.
Interesting. There are no real changes, I don't think, in principles before the next season, as I understand, as Kick Sauber eventually become Audi. They've got the guy from Ferrari who looks like Where's Wally? His name escapes me at the moment.
Binotto?
Matteo Binotto, yes. He seems to be pulling it all together in an engineering capacity there rather well. It all hangs on the Audi engine. Let's see. It all hangs on the Red Bull engine. It hangs on the Red Bull Ford engine. It hangs on the new Mercedes, the new Ferrari block, and there is no Renault block.
With new regulations, there's a lot of room. Well, there's kind of more room to get things wrong than to get things right. But there are opportunities and hazards on both the upside and the downside. You throw everything up in the air. It's an opportunity for everybody, for all the teams. I'm expecting, Williams to be one of the teams that is improving significantly, and I'm going to be very interested to see how Cadillac work out, because what I've and forgive me, but the name of their team principal escapes me now. But
the Yorkshire bloke, the nice fella, Graham Loud.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard him interviewed a couple of times, and I really liked the sound of what he was saying. I think they've got a very good principle in place there. And I'll be very interested to see what kind of a debut they make.
I've done an impression of him on the show. He's got a lovely Sheffield accent, very reassuring. Everything's going to be fine. But the point I was going to make is it brings me very neatly to Cadillac, because I don't know if you've heard that Colton Herta has given up his IndyCar career and will spend the next season in Formula 2, driving for High-Tech and being the Cadillac reserve driver with a view to being a Cadillac racing driver in a year or three. Let's see how he gets on at Formula 2. Cadillac have signed Bottas and Sergio Perez. They're good for a few years, but they'll need some young blood. Now, his father, Colton Herta's father, Brian Herta, was an outstanding driver. And a lot of people say that Colton Herta is an outstanding driver, good enough for Formula One, which he may well be, but I don't think he's the best driver in IndyCar at the moment. I think there are at least two other drivers better suited to Formula One life than him at the moment.
So who would you be picking? Who would you
Alex Palou.
pick from Indy?
Palou, absolutely, and Patricio O'Ward. outstanding drivers, they are, and they have had tests in the young drivers test over the years, but they're not being picked up.
Hasn't Pato Award had a couple of outings in P1 sessions at
yes.
one or two races?
This year, yeah. Well, did one last year. I think Abu Dhabi, and he did one this year as well, and by all accounts, accounted very well for himself, but there simply isn't the space at McLaren for him at the moment, and he's good enough to go straight into that team, in my view.
But McLaren, I mean, they have such outstanding drivers right now. Yeah,
they want for nothing.
Really, you really don't want to change that lineup.
But I feel for Colton Herta for two reasons. Number one, he's going into the high-tech team in F2. Now, high-tech are really, really, really good, but haven't finished higher than fourth in F2. I think ever. They've never won it. That's Ollie Oakes, the popular Channel 4 teen drama series, Ollie Oakes. Oliver Oakes' team, and, he's a very capable man. But let's see how Colton Herta gets on there, along with the son of a famous Formula One name who makes his debut in F2 next year, Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., who was only born 18 years ago to his father, Emerson Fittipaldi Sr., who was 70 when his son was born. This son was born.
Must have been getting on a bit. But, Emo was an absolute superstar. Those are quite...
He has a twinkle in his eye.
That's quite a record to live up to. Yeah, but good luck to both of them. Yeah, fingers crossed that they both have good runs in F2. I mean, and I guess for Herta, just getting some experience of European open wheel racing, get more familiar with that world, and let's see. So 27, maybe they'll be possibly looking to get them in F1 seats if they're looking promising enough.
Well, if he does well in his first season, the people to move to Formula One are the people who go into F2 and kill it on their first season. Those who are in there 3 years are never going to get to Formula One. You've got to go in and sparkle from the outset. I'm not certain that Colton Herta is in the best team to allow that to happen. There are better teams that he could be in F2 that would allow him to perform at the standards they're expecting.
So you're saying that everybody that's come into F1 from F2 and has been any good, they've always done it from the top F2 teams. They haven't done it from the midfield teams. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
it's usually ART or Bremer or Carlin who deliver drivers to F1. I mean, High Tech are a great team. I'm not underestimating them, but there are stronger teams that he could have been allied to. But let's see how it goes. I like the idea of another generation of Fittipaldis. I must have told you this before, but one of the great highlights of my life was when I was doing A1 Grand Prix and Emerson Fittipaldi was a consultant for Team A1 Brazil. I got to know him. At least he knew my name. And I'll never forget the first time that I bumped into him and he saw me for the second time and said, "Oh, hello, Gareth," in that lovely Emerson Fittipaldi voice. Hey, Las Vegas next weekend. It's going to be Piastri, isn't it? We want it to be Piastri to keep the fight alive.
To keep the fight alive, yes, but Norris is on a roll. Lando Norris is on a roll. I think he's going to roll a 7 in Vegas, and it's going to be a Norris victory. That's where I'd be putting my money right now.
Okay, and how will Ferrari embarrass us this time?
I think they're going to step up. I think they're going to give one of their better performances this year. I think being in Las Vegas is going to bring the best out of Lewis Hamilton. He likes being in America. So I think Ferrari will do well. Oh, and by the way, another slight shock or disappointment this season has been, amongst the driver stats or facts that have been popping up on screen at various points have been, what drivers' favourite films were. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that Lewis Hamilton was coming to America. Now, come on. I mean, it's,
it's not an intellectual giant, that film, is it?
Well, no, it's no. I'm not saying you have to choose, an intellectually taxing film, Secret to the Beehive or some nonsense like that. It's but the point is just an Eddie Murphy film is a perfectly respectable choice as your favorite movie ever. But Coming to America is nowhere near Eddie Murphy's best film. I mean, come on, sure, if you're going to go for an Eddie Murphy movie, surely it has to be Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours.
Right.
For my money.
Curious.
Maybe Trading Places.
Eddie Murphy was almost in a Star Trek film. He campaigned very hard to be in, I think it was Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
Really?
Yeah. And I would have loved that. I think it would have been wonderful.
No, I would have liked to have seen that.
And that would make that my favourite Eddie Murphy film.
Of course. But I mean, quite apart from the fact that he's such a funny guy, both, as a comic actor and as a stand-up, he's absolutely up there with the very best. But he's a real movie star. He's not just a comic actor. He has tremendous range. He has the charisma and the acting chops. I'm a big fan. But
as is Lewis Hamilton, clearly.
Yeah, clearly, as one should be.
Well, let's hope he's inspired, because Eddie Murphy doesn't seem to have aged in any way at all.
No, you're right.
And I'm concerned that Lewis is starting to age, and it's starting to show a little bit. Let this be an inspiration. Lewis, come on, the fight back this weekend. Hey, we'll talk about it in a fortnight, right, of course, right here on Gareth Jones on Speed. But
we will.
Zoggy, I'm going to go and talk WRC now, but for now, nice to talk to you, bruv.
See ya.
UK car news. The Beast is back. That one-off Rolls-Royce Merlin-powered behemoth known as the Beast, built by John Dodd in the 1970s, is for sale again. Fully renovated with a plush interior and once again fronted by a Rolls-Royce grille, the 27-litre V12 is expected to sell for between £75,000 and £100,000 at auction, which is still less than it would cost to run this monster for 12 months with UK petrol prices. Gareth Jones on Speed! It was nice to have Zog's input on the programme after a bit of a gap earlier on today, and it's equally nice to have Graham King back on the show after a gap of how long, how many months, years?
I think it was April we last spoke.
Oh no. And the two of us have been carefully observing what's going on in the WRC from a safe distance, haven't we?
Yes.
And it's everything that, as a Welshman, you want to hear. We could well have a Welsh World Rally Champion for the first time ever this year. He's failed 4 times previously, hasn't he?
Yes, it's a distinct possibility. It's not guaranteed, but it's certainly a distinct possibility.
What's he got to do? I wrote this down. He is how many points ahead?
3.
Yeah. How many points are available over a rally weekend? You get 25 for the win, 17 for second. You also get points for Super Sunday, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Super Sunday. There's 35 points available across the weekend, and the difference between first and second is 8 points. So Elfyn has to win the last round to win the championship. But there are reasons to think he can. Let's just go over sort of how we got here. When we last spoke, I think we had just had Rally Sweden, maybe the Safari Rally as well. That was sort of the first 3 events of the season. Elfyn won in Sweden and on the Safari. And then that put him in the lead of the championship. And when you're leading the championship, you're first on the road. So there was a long run on gravel rallies when he was first on the road and therefore cleaning the road for everyone else. He banked solid points on all the rallies, but he was actually off the podium for 5, 6 rounds. Meanwhile, Sebastian Ogier in particular, who actually missed Sweden and Kenya, and then later Estonia as well, he was sort of cranking out the wins and the podiums, catching up the gap. so that he went into the last but one round, the Central European Rally. He actually went into that in the lead of the championship.
Yeah.
But he crashed out. He super rallied, but that limits you to the number of points you can score. And so that put him back behind Elfin. And then the last round we had in Japan, Ogier won. Elfin was second. He's had a run of second place finishes on the last 4 events. And that second place finish was enough for him just to maintain the championship lead he'd retaken on the Central European Rally.
Yeah.
And now he takes that 3-point advantage into Saudi Arabia. And this is where it gets interesting, because Saudi Arabia is a brand new event. As we're speaking, they'll be doing the recce for it or just getting into the recce. Publicly available information about the rally has been very thin. We don't really know anything about it, other than it's probably going to be the roughest rally anyone has seen in decades.
What, rougher than the Safari?
Rougher than the Safari, rougher than the Acropolis.
Right.
Because of the bit of Saudi Arabia they're running it in, it's not sort of desert rally. It's kind of a, shall we say, a
Stonefield.
A Stonefield rally, kind of a Badlands rally.
Yeah.
And this is where it can go either way, because obviously running first on the road under those circumstances theoretically should be a big disadvantage. But of all the leading drivers, Elfin is probably the one who prepares the most thoroughly.
Oh, I'm proud to hear that.
He leaves no stone unturned. This rally, the route has been run before in the Middle Eastern Championship. So there's information available from that. There'll be the organisers' notes and footage. He'll have gone through that meticulously. Once he's done the recce, he'll go over that footage meticulously. On the recce itself, he may literally leave no stone unturned.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stones. He may actually be keeping a very, forgive the turn of phrase, very sharp eye out for where he's likely to pick up punctures.
Yeah.
And will the other drivers put in that level of preparation? Who knows?
Well, he's got the full support of Toyota.
He does, absolutely. I mean, he's got the team's full support, but it's essentially they're all treated equally. No one's given preferential treatment. Ogier has made no secret of the fact that he wants this championship. It would be his 8th.
Is that right?
I think. Tying the record with Sebastian Loeb. Interestingly, if he did win this championship, he'd be the oldest driver to win it because he's 41.
Cool.
I can't remember who it is, but I think the next oldest was 39. That might have been Bjorn Valdegaard, perhaps.
Nice
someone like that.
one.
So he's made no secret of the fact he wants this, which he wasn't necessarily planning on sort of completing the second half of the season.
Yeah.
But when he got a sniff of the championship, he decided he was going to complete it. And starting second on the road, you know, he may stand a better chance than Elfin. We just don't know. That's what makes this one so interesting. It really can go either way. And that's sort of discounting the possibilities with anyone else in the field. I mean, Rovanperä has struggled on loose surfaces this year, but it's his last rally in the WRC.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future, we can come back to that.
Yeah.
But he may be inspired. Hyundai have had a terrible year. They've only had one victory. And Tanak has announced he's retiring as well.
Yeah.
So he may be inspired. Thierry Neuville has had a year he'd rather forget. You know, this being a new rally that it's a massive unknown, it's kind of who knows what's going to happen.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice when F1 goes to a new circuit. The playing field is leveled slightly, and it's all down to your approach as a team. Are you honed as a team, and is there anything else you can do to harvest data that's going to give you that, even the slightest advantage over someone in the case of a championship? There's a lot of coming and going in the WRC,
yes,
as I understand this. Kalle Rovanperä's off to, well, initially Formula Regional Oceania, and then Super Formula in Japan. He's tested an older F2 car, but he wants to be an F1 driver, right?
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, more credit to him. If he wants to change discipline, no one has gone from rallying to single seaters before. Obviously, lots of drivers have gone from rallying to circuit racing generally, and vice versa. Josh Verstappen,
became
Max's dad and Formula One driver himself, in his sort of 50s, has gone rallying and became Belgian rally champion this year.
Yeah. Robert Kubica did some rallying. Yes. Kimi did some rallying as well. Kimi Räikkönen.
Yes. But going rallying to single-seater racing is basically unprecedented. Yeah. And it seems as if Rovanperä wants to challenge himself to do something different. He did a bit of circuit racing during his part-time year last year and really enjoyed it. And I don't know that he said it explicitly, but I certainly read something where he was basically saying, he's only 25.
Yeah.
He's a two-time world champion. And it seems like he wasn't necessarily expecting to achieve the success he has as soon as he has.
Yeah. Makes sense. Didn't he dip out of some rallies for a while, claiming he had mental health issues he wanted to address?
Yeah, that was last year, basically, kind of like, when Nico Rosberg won the F1 championship. That took absolutely every ounce of his resources and capacity, and he decided sort of, I can't do it again.
Yeah.
So he retired. And it seems like there was a bit of that with Rovanperä, having done 2 back-to-back world championships, giving it absolutely everything he had. And he wanted to sort of kick back for a year. And sort of more power to him for recognising the need to do that. It gave him the opportunity to relax and try other things and think about what he might want to do in future. It probably has cemented his decision to make the switch that he hasn't had a great year this year. He's had 3 wins. He won in Spain, or Tenerife as it technically was, Finland, and the Central European Rally. So he's won 2 tarmac rallies and 1 gravel rally, which, is a very good return.
Heck.
But not necessarily by his standards.
Right.
The fact that he's been struggling this year a bit may well have cemented the decision to switch to circuit racing.
I can't wait to follow him in Super Formula.
It's going to be absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, brutal. That's a very demanding series. It's
apparently they're faster than F2.
I think they are. I think they're more powerful. They're certainly wilder than F2 cars. And a bit of a handful. But good for you, right?
Yeah.
Put muscles on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other movements. We mentioned Oitsenak is not just leaving Hyundai, but he's Hyundai. He's leaving, Hyundai rhymes with Monday.
Yes.
He's leaving rallying as a driver for now.
Well, for now, sort of semi-retirement, shall we say. Apparently he was offered a boatload of money to stay on at Hyundai, sort of Colin McRae levels of money, it seems.
Wow.
That's how highly they rate him and how much they want to keep him on. As Hyundai has had a terrible year this year, but Tanak got their 1 win.
Yeah.
And certainly through the first half of the season, he kept them there or thereabouts. But he's 38, he's a family man. And he's got a very successful rally team that he evidently wants to put more time and effort into. In fact, that team is essentially the Works Hyundai Rally 2 team.
Right.
So he wants to put more effort into that. And, fair enough. He's been around in the WRC for on and off for probably 15 years or so at this point. He's a world champion. So, if you want to go off and do other things, why not? You don't have to stay there forever.
More than a world champion, probably the first Estonian that most people can name.
Well, apparently he is like the biggest sporting superstar in Estonia, which of course is a very small country.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he is a national celebrity there. And apparently everyone's quite gutted that he's decided to leave rallying. But, you've got to look after yourself at some point. As I say, he's decided to take a step back because especially this year with 14 rounds, the schedule has been pretty brutal this year.
Well, there needs to be more rallying. I know there needs to be more of everything. There certainly needs to be more coverage of rallying. accessible without having to pay for it. It
Yeah.
should be included in some kind of package that I pay for, sporting package.
Well, hopefully that might actually change next year, because one of the things that's been going on in the background this year is the WRC's promoter, which is very helpfully called WRC Promoter.
Yeah, it does what it says on the box.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's come to the end of its contract or it's decided to effectively resign. It's a combination of Red Bull's media arm and a German media company, if I remember rightly. They've decided to give up the reins. The FIA is announcing the new promoter in December, and it seems like everyone thinks it's sorely needed at this point. I've been watching the packages that go out on ICV4, and quite frankly, they've been fairly dire this year. But there's basically been a different format for each one. So there's been a bit of a feeling of sort of it's their last year, they're not necessarily putting in all the effort they should be. And hopefully a new promoter can mix things up a bit and get more free-to-air coverage. And especially if we do get a British or Welsh World Champion this year, hopefully it'll start getting more traction in the mainstream media here.
Yeah.
And there'll be a demand for more terrestrial coverage.
I should be watching the Welsh language coverage on S4C S4C here.
Yes.
It's a programme called Rallyo, which is rallying. And they have a good show using the world feed, but they also have local reporters, and they're able to ask Elvin questions yn Cymraeg in Welsh. So, he features in Welsh culture as big as Oit Tanach does in Estonian culture.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic on the Safari Rally. The drivers were in dispute with the FIA about swearing, and I think they were being threatened with €10,000 fines if they swore on live coverage, which they suggested quite rightly, the top drivers make decent money, but they don't necessarily have €10,000 to throw around. And, in the heat of the moment, you've just finished a stage, someone's sticking a microphone in your face, you're not necessarily in full control of what you say. But on the first day, everyone got around that by either not speaking or speaking in their native language.
Yeah.
So we had the delights of Elfyn Evans answering all the questions in Welsh, which I thought, on something going out globally, I thought that was fantastic, because to an English person it's incomprehensible, but it sounds beautiful.
And it also, to your ears, will sound British. It is a British language, as English is a British language. And so it sounds familiar. It doesn't sound alien. The one I like is languages are like pebbles washed by the rivers of time.
Yeah.
So modern languages have had all the difficult sounds removed. That's why English is so very successful. It's basically all in the middle. I'm teasing, but there's a truth to it. Whereas Welsh, being an older language, has got sounds like and which, if you eliminate from languages, it makes them easier for a wider group of people to speak. It's easier to learn, right? But hey,
it's something. In 1995, my family spent 3 months in Harlech.
Oh, yes.
And I was in school, so I was, for a couple of months, learning a bit of Welsh.
Da iawn.
When I was 11 years old, all I can remember now is how to count to 3.
Go on, then.
Which was Undau Tri.
Perfect. Da iawn. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
That's it.
Undau Tri. Yeah. Oh, that's good enough.
Yeah.
If you're ever in a pub in Wales, you can order anything up to 321 or 123 pints in various combinations by simply adding the word paint. And, you're there. Well done. Well done. Well, now, Elvin could be, please let him, please let him become the world champion. For deeply personal, satisfying reasons. I used to follow his dad. I've met and interviewed his dad. I've met and interviewed Elvin, and I love it that we had a world-class rally here, a world-class motorsport event here in North Wales. And I'm sad that despite the fact that I live here now, the WRC isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
We need a British round of the WRC. Wales, I know, did a fantastic job, I think. Let's see who else could come with it. But if we have a British world champion, we really ought to think about getting a UK round in the WRC back in the next 2 years somewhere.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll have Lancia back in the next year or two as well.
Yeah, so they've built a Rally 2 car, is that right?
Yes, that's the second tier.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to become the first tier. I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, they're adopting rules that make it more accessible to everyone, right?
Yeah.
And those cars have caught up in speed. Sorry.
Yes, the reason Lancia are coming back, there is sort of a cold hard marketing reason behind it.
Of course.
Because Lancia, obviously being a Stellantis brand, there is Stellantis Motorsport, which has overarching control of all the Stellantis Motorsport activities. And thus far, in Rally 2, which is a customer series, it is a profit centre for them. They have been using the Citroën C3, which runs out of homologation in 2026. It's sort of that simple. I believe they haven't actually done any new build Citroën C3s for some years because, of course, the road car has moved on from that generation of body shell. So there's sort of that cold, hard marketing element of it. They need a new car, but they've got the Lancia Ypsilon, which is essentially on the same platform as the C3 was. So it's not that big a hassle to adapt the Ypsilon body shell to the C3 running gear and aerodynamics. But obviously, you know, they're not stupid. They will have recognised the romance of Lancia coming back into the WRC, even if it is sort of at the second tier. But in 2027, Rally 2 sort of de facto becomes the top tier because though we've got these new WRC 27 rules, which are a development of the rules we currently have, the space frame regulations. It's changed shape a bit. It's a bit bigger, but they've also put in an equalization package to upgrade Rally 2 cars, sort of a Rally 2 Plus, to upgrade them to the same performance level as the WRC 27 car. So, yeah, there is that equalization between Rally 2 and WRC 27, which the existing manufacturers aren't that interested in. Toyota might build one, Ford might.
Yeah.
Hyundai have essentially said they're not going to. So that opens up the possibility for the likes of Lancia and Skoda, which is the other big manufacturer in Rally 2, to compete sort of in the top class alongside whatever space frame cars turn up.
Each of the brands, each of the big megaliths will have a presence for one of their brands in that sport at some point. VAG, whether it's VW or Audi or Skoda, there will always be one of their brands who occupy a space in world rallying, in my view.
And of course, we may yet see one of the Chinese brands come in. You never know.
Yeah, well. Hey, as I discovered in Milan recently, the Chinese avalanche of brands and bikes in the motorcycle world gives you a good indication of what they will do not only in road cars but in the marketing of road cars and motorsport once they decide to really go for it.
Yeah.
Incredible at the moment. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what would you do, right? Who did Geely own? Geely own Volvo. They own Polestar. Volvo used to go rallying. You could have a Volvo branded Geely Polestar or Lotus.
Perhaps you could put the EX30 body shell might work.
Yeah,
possibly.
That would do it.
I don't know what Geely's got in its own portfolio
of their own cars. They're coming as Geely, I think, rather than selling them under their other brands. I can't remember any of the non-native brands. It's too many new brands to keep up with.
Yes, I mean, I'm supposed to do this professionally, and I'm struggling to.
There's a lot happening in Avalanche. Right, listen, before we wrap this up, because we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Your prediction: what is going to happen in the WRC? Who's going to be the champion?
I certainly want Elfin to win. I don't know if the odds are entirely stacked in his favour, but I want him to win it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think he will do everything in his power to make sure that he does win it.
And if he does win it, it will be a mighty achievement if he's cleaning the track. Yeah.
Absolutely, especially on this rally where there's probably going to be boulders the size of TVs he's kicking out of the way. So,
well, we wish him good Welsh spirits to thrust those boulders, and let's like the Welsh front row in rugby or something. I don't know, but this means we've got to talk again soon.
Yes,
when we have a resolution to this, and maybe we should even talk about the Dakar as well. You and me.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be fun. But Graham, nice to have you back on the show again, man. Thank you.
Been a pleasure.
Ewch Elfyn, go Elfyn, as we say in Cymraeg. That's it for Gareth Jones on Speed. See you in a fortnight.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this show, then please like, share and subscribe. For information on how to contact the show, see pictures, read song lyrics, follow us on social media, or to sponsor this podcast, go to garethjones.tv. Gareth Jones on Speed is made in Wales by Whiz Bang.
Gareth Jones on Speed!